Welcome to our retirement, folks. Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Didn't do a right lot yesterday, folks.
No, we didn't.
Oh, it was horrible. It was wet all day, wasn't it? Yesterday.
It was.
Yeah, I can't say much to report there from yesterday, except that Pat wasn't all that good last night.
Yesterday evening.
It's not clearing up, is it, Pat?
No, it ain't.
No.
You've had 2 coffees, haven't you?
Yeah. So we've to hand a pee sample in at doctor's this morning on his way to shop. Go to a shop at Mark's.
And Tracy came back with she went out to take rubbish to tip and came back with a new rubbish bin. Didn't she? You see it? It's two bins in one. I says to her, you were a bit hyper yesterday. Like when we were sat last night. Yeah, because she was. What was she doing? She put some washing in the washing machine. Did she change her bed? I think she did. She changed her bed. She was dashing about round here, wasn't she? Making a breakfast, and then she started clearing things out at tool room to take to rubbish tip.
Oh yeah.
When while she were out doing that, she went round Dunelm's and found this bin. Then she tidied up a bit more. I don't know, she seemed to be just going from one thing to another, dashing about. Because after she made, Trudy came round for tea, and then she made a chocolate brownie at 6:30, 7 o'clock-ish.
Did you say you're hyper or something to her?
I did, yeah.
And what did she say?
She said, yeah, I have been, haven't I, today?
Is it because she's taking, I don't know, she's supposed to take tablets for summer?
Oh, her blood pressure.
Her blood pressure. But don't she have these patches?
Oh, yeah, them things.
But she's not like us where before they run out, we order a new lot and we carry on taking them. Tracy just lets them run out and she'll go, I don't know how long before she decides to put an order in.
She's got to get in touch with the doctor every time she wants a new lot.
What, they're not on repeat?
No, they're not on repeat.
Oh, God.
So that makes it more awkward for her, because she's to find time to ring the doctor.
Well, why aren't they on repeat?
They don't do them on repeat, she says, for her. I don't know whether other people do. I have no idea.
The workings.
They don't want her to have them on
I tell you
repeat.
what, when we were in surgery on Friday, picking that thing up for to prick a finger, you know, for test sugar, a guy came in with a urine sample, and
it was nearly 4 o'clock.
It was going on for 4, and she said, we don't take them after 3. He says, you're joking. She says, no, we don't.
No, they don't.
We don't take them after 3 o'clock.
Got to be in by 3 so they can go off in.
Yeah. Well, he was annoyed.
He said, can't leave them for tomorrow. She says,
They'll be off.
we don't do it tomorrow. They're not collected.
No, because it was weekend.
It was Saturday. And she says, and if it stayed here all weekend, it won't be viable.
Yeah.
So, off he went. I think he were going to try and catch Carvely, because apparently they were the last pickup.
Well, be lucky to get there before they shut.
Yeah.
I don't know. They probably
I think she said...
threw Viola P at window, not way out.
Oh dear. I don't think he had it in a proper bottle either, which...
Oh, didn't he? Don't help.
They don't like, no. There's a notice on counter saying don't put it in any other jar then.
All right. Well, he broke another rule there then. Oh.
Oh dear. So we got on, was it Friday when we went to see Doctor? It wasn't it? I got 3 different kinds of bottles, and I'm trying to remember which is for which. And I said to Trevor last night, I've forgotten. I can't remember which is which. Which is supposed to go in tomorrow? We were just about to watch football.
No, well,
Oh.
I was watching Duel on computer, you know, Steven Spielberg, is that right?
Yeah.
I think it was his first film, that. I have seen it once, but a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd watch it again. And I'm coming near to end, and when she bursts into the room with all her woes. And I knew football was coming on. So
they were wanting to get the end of Duel
just before match, and then she come in with she'd been having pain all night and said nothing to nobody.
Well, our Tracy knew, because she kept seeing me flinch. Yeah.
Didn't she say?
No, she just kept looking at me. And she said, "It's not right, Mum." Is it right?
Well, it ain't. They ain't got to bottom on it.
No.
But we've got to go along with procedures now, haven't we? The water sample goes in today, another one next Monday. You never know, you might get a reaction, because that water sample that you put in today is horrible. So you might get a reaction from that this week.
I don't know. It's all doom and gloom at the moment, isn't it?
Aren't we a right couple of, honestly?
And weather's foul. It keeps throwing it down, doesn't it? I've noticed pigeons are coming back into the tree over there. Well, there's 4 of them at the moment.
A lot of people still haven't got any power.
Haven't they?
No. Some people have just got it back on. So there are problems.
I know, compared to theirs now.
It's always Sunday worse off than you said. What were your sugar this morning? 12 point something this morning.
Yeah.
Last night it was higher than that.
Yeah. 16.
So this miraculous 7 point whatever it was
that I had the other day.
that seems to have been a one-off. Got me really excited. Did that? Yeah. Thought, ooh.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going back. We're going back in time now. We're going back to 1981, probably.
Ah, we're still here then.
Oh, we're still here. I finished college, failed the course, no degree for Trevor. How upset I was.
You couldn't care less.
And that was when I say Melvin suggested opening a piano shop. So we were about to embark on our next adventure.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. Melvin just brought all these pianos up. I had no idea. I couldn't play piano. I couldn't tune a piano. I knew nothing about pianos. Then we got Frank. Our Frank. He were in his 50s with Frank. And he used to come every Monday to tune the pianos.
You were an ex-headmaster, weren't
He
you?
was, in Wetherby.
Oh.
Wetherby High School, I think. And he'd taken early retirement at Frank to get out, you know, the pressure. And I believe a piano tuner had taught Frank how to tune. And Frank Frank was a born teacher.
Yeah.
He really was. And I would imagine Frank had picked up. And he was one for detail and all with Frank. Well, he used to come to the shop and spend the day in the shop tuning pianos, did Frank. And I wasn't that interested. When someone came in to look at a piano, I couldn't tell them a thing. I don't know how I carried on with them. They'd have had to have known what they wanted and make their own mind up, because I don't think I could have told them much about it. But I was still painting, you know, I was working on another, you know, like that long painting I showed you. I was working on one similar to that, another one. And also, we were still messing about in the band, because I used to be rehearsing. I used to be practicing. And Frank had, "Can you turn that down?" I really annoyed him. And he annoyed me and all. Because he were always shouting me down. "Trevor, come here, I want you." Yeah. What, Frank? What do you want me to do with this? I don't know, Frank. Whatever it needs doing. And anyway, Frank got fed up with this. All these pianos had just come. Melvin had bought them. They'd just come straight from his warehouse up to the shop. Nothing had been done to them. There could have been all sorts wrong with them. And Frank was being confronted by all these pianos in different states of disrepair, I think. So he started to get really frustrated. So he said to me, you know, he said, what are you going to do with them paintings? You can't get them in an house. They're too big. I don't know. I was never interested in that. How different I am now. I was never interested in whether they had any
value to anybody else.
Yeah.
You were just getting it out.
It was
just frustration.
Just a way of expressing. Just a form of expression, yeah. All these things in my head, I was getting them out onto canvas. And the same with the songs. I was writing these poems and I was writing these songs for the band. Same thing. All about the world and life and all that. And Frank didn't like the music. he didn't like my paintings, and just thought me and Melvin were a couple of right likely lads, did Frank. He used to come dressed up to shop. And he used to bring this lunchbox with him, didn't he? I think his wife packed it up for him. Now, I used to be fascinated by his lunchbox, because it were all right neat.
Sandwiches in.
And it was funny because his wife always put him a Kit Kat in, and he hated Kit Kat. Anybody hate Kit Kat? I couldn't never understand that. What there is to dislike about a Kit Kat.
Yeah.
Frank didn't like them. And his wife always put him one in his pack up. I polished them off anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So Frank, he said, look, he kept saying, what are you going to do? She's off again.
No, I'm just going to put my jumper on.
Oh, I thought you were off for another visit to Low.
Well, could do, but...
Well, Frank, he said, you've got a wife and a child. What are you going to do with yourself? You know, to provide for your family. These paintings and this music ain't going to provide for them, is it? I don't know, Frank. The shop, we're running a shop. And I think he thought, well, this ain't going to last long, because these pianos are not worth a shot. Anyway, he says, look, you need to do repairs to these pianos, so that when I come, all I have to do is tune them. Otherwise, I'm going to be all day working on one piano. It's going to cost you a fortune. You can't go on like that. Well, I wonder, how on earth am I going to do that, Frank? He says, look, send off for these tools. He gave me the address of a company in London. What they're called, Extras. I think they were called Extras.
Yeah.
And he wrote down a list of tools. He said, send off for these tools. And this book on how to repair piano actions. So that's what I did. And so, I read the book and started to be able to identify different parts of a piano action. They all had different names. The hammer felt, the hammer body, the hammer shank, the hammer butt, the butt felts, butt leathers, butt springs, spiral springs, flange pin, flange bushing. That's just on that one bit. I mean, there's just tons and tons of pieces. Then you've got the lever with the bridle wire, the back check felt, the tie tape. You've got the lever, you've got the spiral spring, you've got the spoon, the damper spoon, and don't forget,
there's 80.
There's 88. There's 88 of them. This is just on one. This is just one
hammer.
This is just one note. This, and then you've got the saddle on the lever saddle, and that sits on the key pilot. You've got the pilot adjusting screw. Then you've got the pilot felt. You've got the piano key, and you've got the weight, the piano weight, and then you've got the
bushings,
the felt bushings, underneath the front of the key. You've got the key tops, which consisted of a head and a tail, and they were made of either ivory or celluloid or plastic. And then you've got the black note, which is a black ivory. And they rest on an armrest rail, on a balance rail. You've got the balance rail pin, the balance rail felt and the washers. And then you've got the front rail washers underneath there. Loads and loads of parts on a piano, and they all have a name. And they all have a function. And I had to learn all about the names of all these parts and what their function is. And then I could then repair them if they weren't functioning properly. So in the end I had to send off on all these parts I've mentioned to you. I carried round with me in the car.
Yeah.
In little tiny drawers. Perspex drawers in a case.
And you even carried the keys tops, didn't you?
Key
if they were ivory.
Yeah.
And
Did.
cannibalised old pianos to collect the ivory from them because you couldn't buy. They stopped selling it, didn't they? Ivory.
Ivory, yeah.
And they were just doing cellulose.
Well, they started making something called ivorite, which were an artificial. It looked like ivory and felt a bit like ivory, but it won't. So I got the tools and I started to repair the broken bits of a piano. And once I'd done that, then came the next stage, which was regulation. Another complex process of measurements, everything moving. A key only goes down 3/8 of an inch when you press a key down, and it has to move. I don't know how many movements have to take part in that 3/8 of an inch drop. One thing moves a certain distance, another thing comes in and takes over. That has to move a certain distance. All of that is all calculated so that when you press down on that key, that hammer hits that string correctly, bounces back from it at the correct distance and comes to rest with the jack underneath it in a certain position, ready for it to be played again in swift succession. So every key, all 88 notes, all these keys, they all had to be regulated. The key had to be set at a certain height, and they all had to be level, perfectly level. And the keyboard had to go level all the way. It didn't go up or down like that. It didn't have to go in a wave. It had to be perfectly level. And all the notes had to go down the same distance, and all these other distances from the pilot at the back of the key, where the saddle sat on it for the lever, there had to be a tiny amount of play in the key, just a tiny amount, so that the lever wasn't resting on the pilot, and so the jack wasn't resting on the hub, on the butt leather underneath. Loads and loads of when you press down on the key, the lever had to escape at a certain point, called escapement. When it was a certain distance away from the string, the lever had to shoot out so that the last movement of that key, that hammer onto the string, was not being forced on but free, because the lever had sprung out and it was just moving by momentum. So it was the difference between a tap and a flick. And then it had to hit that string and come to rest, bounce back and come to rest a certain distance away from the string, and the jack underneath, not too far under, too far or not far enough under, but just in the correct position, ready for you to play that note again without it coming all the way back up to the top, so you can trill the note. Loads and loads, all mathematics, all measurements and distances.
Yeah.
So I had to learn all that.
You were always a quick learner, weren't you?
I did, yeah. I did.
Yeah.
I had
You
a
read
brain.
something and it just
Must
stuck.
have had a brain in them days.
Yeah, everything stuck, didn't it?
I retained information.
Yeah, you did. You did.
And I started learning how to regulate. So I knew how to repair, and I knew how to set a piano up, regulate it, so that it would play properly. And you gradually, you could tell when I'd set a piano up, because it felt the same. Every piano felt the same to play when you played it, because I'd set it up. And gradually over the years, I developed my own way of setting a piano up that deviated just a little bit from what the book said. Because the book, in my opinion, it made hard work of it, in my opinion. And I gradually over the years, figured out a way of doing it in a different order, so you didn't have to repeat things.
And that meant that Frank could just come in and tune a certain...
Yeah.
Instead of having to do bits of repairs and bits of this, and still not being really right because it hadn't been done throughout.
Yeah.
Well,
it's horrible.
Just come and tune
going to tune a piano that's not playing right.
No.
You know, it's horrible. You can't tune them properly when they're not playing properly.
Yeah.
But while all this is going on, I still wasn't interested in pianos that much. I was still going, I'd do a piano and then go back up and carry on either painting or working on a song. My mind was still up there in that room, on the music and on the painting. I was just doing the pianos because to keep Frank off my back, because Frank just constantly interrupted me. When he were here, I used to dread him coming because he just won't leave me alone. So I just did it to get him off my back, really. So there was a point at which that changed, and we'll get into that later on in the story.
Yeah.
So I think we'll end it there. All right, folks. Well, we're off shopping today, and hopefully we'll see you again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.